Alright, at least the Lakers had some positives offensively, and it was stemming from their usual SNR DHO manipulations, because they were generating some good looks even with Zoo mixing up his coverages. When he was in his usual drop, they ate that space to get downhill for finishes, sprays, or drop-offs, and when he was showing, they hit the short for swings, so Rui ended up being the biggest beneficiary on the night. He got a few of his signature baseline cuts, but whenever Zoo was at the rim, he got his shit sent, and no amount of positives could compensate for the multitude of issues they had. A lot of it was from the Clips just building a wall around the paint to deter him from getting downhill, and it worked, because their offense got too sticky more times than not. All they did was basically settle for jumpers, so if it wasn't Ant taking tough twos over top of Zoo, it was quick pulls in transition, and the others shooting from deep with no rhythm, because a lot of them were coming one pass away. There's a difference between a hot potato swing versus a paint touch spray, and this is a team that's known for their paint dominance, but there was rarely any of that throughout. If anything, there's been a decline in that this year, and it's reflected in the numbers, but their offense is always going to look even worse when they still have these severe turnover issues. They could not connect on any of their passes, or kept getting them picked off, whether it was in the pocket, on cuts, or just from players not being on the same page, and the majority of them were coming from their primary ball handlers, because Braun and Austin were too careless with the rock. It was obvious Braun decided to start controlling the entire offense in the second half, so I didn't even notice Austin, because he didn't get a single shot attempt, and he ended the game with more turnovers than buckets. But Braun was smoking a lot of bunnies, so it wasn't just the turnovers for him, and these were just issues on that side of the ball, but there were just as many on the other. The Clips got a lot of good matchups in transition, or from the Lakers' Redding, and the majority of them were for Kawhi or Zoo. The Lakers had to help, or was even over-helping whenever either of them had an advantage, so that kept putting them out of position, and if it wasn't one of them scoring, it was just their gravity opening up shots for the others. That's how Norman got going early, but it really didn't matter if it was a good matchup or not, because the Lakers couldn't man up at all, so even Harden was getting to his spots in that two-man game with Zoo, or got to fry on some of his ones, and when they decided to zone up in the third, it was just as bad. That might have been even easier to exploit, and all of their issues on both ends just compounded for the Clips to have a balanced offensive night, so I don't think the crowd ever shut up, because it's easy to cheer for their team when everything is going right. Just watch the tape.
Kawhi with his trademark mid-range, he's got 15.